Alright, so in this video what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys part 7 of the 32 drawings that you have to create. This is going to be part 7 on the back side of the harder, the 20 that are a little bit more difficult. So part 7, you're going to use what's called a loft tool. I'm going to show you guys how to use that tool. So first off, let's make sure you're in Inventor, and you're going to create a new part. You go standard IPT, and we're going to create that. And from there, you're going to create a 2D sketch. And I like to select, with at least this particular part, this XY plane, that vertical plane. We'll select that and click your rectangle tool. I'm going to go to the origin here, the 00XY origin, and I'm going to go ahead and create a rectangle. Again, with all your parts, as you're drawing them, make sure you figure out what the overall length, height, and depth is. Remember that each grid on the paper that you guys have here, it's a 1/4 inch, okay, as you're referring to each part. All right, so we're going to go ahead, I'm going to make that length at 2.5 and tab over, and the overall height is 1.25. I'm going to finish that sketch and click on my home button here. So here's my overall sketch, and I want to extrude that then at a depth of 1 inch. So we'll click OK. So here's the general shape that now we're going to then make the cutout. So to do that, I need to make 2 new sketches. Again, always have your browser open here. If your browser's not open, you can always view that. Go into the view icon, user interface, and just make sure the browser is selected. Okay, so I'm going to go back to 3D model here, create 2D sketch. I'm going to put a new sketch on the front face, and I'm going to use the line tool initially, and I'm going to create some guidelines. So I'm going to go to the upper left hand corner. I'm going to create a guideline that comes out at 0.25, and then I'm going to create another guide on the upper right hand corner at 0.25, and I'm just pressing escape, getting out my line tool here, and I want to go to the midpoint, find that midpoint, and I want to go up from the midpoint. The midpoint will just be a little dot. If you drag your cursor along the bottom, you'll see it pops up, but we want to go up 0.25 there as well, and I'm just going to go ahead and connect the dots here. Again, we're going to need to close off this object, so make sure that it is a completely closed triangle. And the guidelines, you can keep those in there. You don't need to delete those out. That's fine. We're going to finish that sketch, and the front's done. And we just need to orbit it. So Shift center mouse button, create a 2D sketch now on the back side. And from there, what you're going to do is line tool, upper left hand corner. You're going to come out at 0.75, 3/4 of an inch. Do it on the right hand side. And again, find that center. Right here's my center, that little green dot. From that point, straight vertical, 0.75. And again, connect all these dots. So all your snap points, just connect those. And finish the sketch. Go back to my home position. And what I'm going to do now is use a tool called Loft. It's in the Create area on the Create panel here. So it's near the Extrude, but it's this one right here. It's called Loft, and it's going to be able to cut through some sections here. And this is where it gets a little tricky. First thing when you select that Loft button is you want to go to Cut. We're going to actually cut through this section. And what we're going to do, initially I'm going to select the perimeter line of that triangle. You can see how it's basically asking me what selections or sections do you want to add. I want to add this section in here, but in particular that surface. So I'm going to select the perimeter, and then I'll select that section. So now it's saying sketch 2, that section in sketch 2. And I'll orbit this around to the back, and I'm going to click in here in sections, click to add. So I'm going to add a second perimeter area. So that I selected a line, and then I'm going to click on that surface, all right, that's highlighted pink right now. That's the section that I want to loft to. All right, so I add that, and I'm going to click OK, and it'll actually make the cut. I'll go to my home position here, makes the cut for you. All right, the last thing you need to do is just color that You know, if you wanted to color it a particular color, I want to just make it olive green here. All right, and you could save that into your part files, into your folder. So wherever you're saving your 1 through 20. Okay. So make sure that you have my 1 through 20 here, and this is part 7. So make sure you save it as that, and save it right in. I'm just going to replace the file that's in there. All right, and part 7 is completed. All right, if you have any questions, please refer to your instructor.